Hey guys, Reginald Duck here, back today with another deck profile. So for today, I've got my favourite deck of all time, Agents. I played this for about 5 years after the Agent Structure deck came out. Maybe not quite 5 years, it was up until Clifford came out, because I remember 2-0ing someone because I scammed them. But really fun deck. The new support from Ghost from the Past 2 makes the deck so fun. You can summon Shine Ball up to 9 times in a turn, which obviously costs a lot of life points, but it is pretty funny. So let's get into it. So for the main deck, you've got 3 Earth. It's the main searcher for the deck. You normal summon it, you can search any agent. If you control Sanctuary in the Sky, you can search a Hyperion instead. It's a tuner, that's pretty much it. So really good starter. You do always want to see it. 3 copies of Venus. It's the best one. So basically, not once per turn, pay 500, summon a Shine Ball from deck. So if they ash this, you just pay again, they've wasted an ash. Really great card. It starts all of your plays pretty much. If you can't get to Venus or the Majesty Hyperion, sorry, the Master Flare, you're probably going to lose. But it's actually a really consistent deck. So 3 copies of Venus. 3 copies of the new agent. Neptune. I couldn't have designed a better agent even if I was pick your own effect. Honestly, this card is amazing. So you discard it, you can summon a agent from your graveyard or banished, and then you can, when it's banished, add Sanctuary in the Sky. Really great. So it searches your field spell while also getting you to sorry, I've explained that wrong. It can also summon from hand. It can summon an agent from hand. So it gets you the Venus out of hand if you've already searched the Venus off your normal summon the Earth. So really great. 1 copy of the Agent of Destruction Venus. This helps you get your Shine Balls back. You're often going to send this from deck to copy its effect with a Synchro. So unlike the other Venus, you can't pay 500 then 500. You have to pay multiples of 500 all at once, but it can summon from banished as well. So then it just reborn them all at once. And then when they leave the field, those Shine Balls actually go back to deck, which then lets you use the Venus again. If you manage to keep the Venus on board, you can actually summon 9 Shine Balls in 1 turn. And if you do that, you're probably going to win, because I mean you've got 9 free link materials. So really cool card. You can also summon it from hand by banishing a Venus from graveyard, but generally you want to send this off the Master Flare Hyperion. But it is a really cool card. Also it's a tuner, so some of the Halqifibrax lines actually bring this out from the deck, make a level 5 Synchro with it, and then reborn it with the Neptune to then use its effect. So that's really cool. I'm going to do a combo tutorial on this deck because there's a lot of stuff to go through. So I'll show you all the main lines. 1 copy of Uranus, there we go. Really cool. It is only a one of because you can search if you ever need it. I only ever find I'm summoning this if I want to either cheat out a Halqifibrax from a hand that wouldn't otherwise have a tuner, or it can help me make a Borrowed Savage because it can change its level. So if I control Sanctuary in the Sky, I can special summon it, and then I can send an agent. This level becomes that level. So you can dump whatever you need, and then usually I make this a 3 by sending another Venus, Synchro this, a Venus and a Shine Ball to make a Savage. So that's really cool. Now, best card in the world, unless you draw it. 3 Mystical Shine Ball. Absolutely love this card. Has so much nostalgia for me. So you can actually summon it 9 times, which is the benefit now. So just keep spamming this card, just keep link climbing. 2 copies of Majesty Hyperion. You could get away with 1, but I like the deck a little bit bigger because you don't want to dead draw Shine Balls because you can summon them from hand or deck, but you'd rather summon them from deck. So basically, it's a new Hyperion monster. It's like the other one, but its attack and defense have been switched and it's now dark. But what it does is it can summon itself from hand or graveyard by banishing an agent monster, and then up to twice per turn if you control Sanctuary in the Sky, you can banish a card from your graveyard to banish a card from either player's graveyard. So it can get rid of any Golden Lords or any other nonsense, or you can actually get rid of your own guys if you're trying to set up a Christia. So that's really good. I like changing the numbers of fairies in your grave. It is an 8, so a lot of the time you'll bring it back to either make a Master Flare or a Baron. So really good. 1 copy of the OG Master Hyperion. I love this card. It's still a really easy special summon, again level 8, so if you do draw it, it can just be made into a Baron or something. Helps you go for game, because this one actually destroys cards on the field. So you banish an agent from grave, hand or field to summon it. Banish fairies from grave, not just agents. Destroy cards up to twice per turn if you've got Sanctuary, really really good. You can also reborn it off the Neptune, I believe, and you can actually send it from deck to grave with the Master Flare Hyperion to copy this card's effect, because then the Master Flare can destroy and banish. It's really cool. 3 Diviner. This is just an entirely separate combo really. If you don't draw the Earth, you can normal summon this. There is a whole combo that I'll have to go through. Basically, it's a 1 card Master Flare Hyperion, which then gets you loads of other stuff. So it on its own is a 1 card level 10 Synchro, while also getting Booten in graveyard, which if you don't know is a level 1 tuner that you can banish from grave to make one of your non-tuner monsters a tuner basically. So it helps like Hulk lines and stuff, really really cool. And then the other part of the package is the Trias Hierarchia. I'll just have to show you the combo in the combo tutorial. You can get a lot from it, so it's just one of them. This is a 9, the Booten's a 1. You use these two to make the Master Flare. You've got the 1 copy of Archlord Christia. This card's amazing. I know the guy playing the Punk Agents, the YCS, wasn't playing Christia, but I do really like it. I think it makes your board a lot stronger, whereas sometimes they can actually still break your board otherwise. So I feel this plus a couple of negates is definitely game, but I never brick on it, but it's up to you. 2 Herald of Orange Lights. Probably the strongest hand trap in the deck, because I mean it's basically a Gamma, but you don't have to play Driver. So just negates monster effects and destroys, but it has to discard a fairy. Any fairy, not just light fairy. 2 copies of Ash. We are playing the crossout designator, so I've cut this down to 2 to try and fit more hand traps in. So I've got 2 Ash, got 1 Ghost Ogre. Again, you just really don't want to get hand trapped in this deck, because oftentimes your negates start coming out at the end of your combo, so you've probably summoned 20 times before you get a negate. So you really don't want to get Nibiru, that's why you're playing the Herald and the crossout. So 1 Ghost Ogre, 1 Veiler, 1 Nibiru, and obviously these cards are great anyway. Even if you draw them, you know, it's a hand trap, you'd rather have it than not. So really really good card. But yeah, try not to draw this one because you don't want to get Nibiru'd. 3 copies of the Sacred Waters in the Sky. It's a searcher. It searches any card that has the Sanctuary in the Sky in its text. So irritatingly, it can't search Venus, but it can search Earth, which can search Venus. So, and then does something about gaining life points for every agent and Hyperion you control, which never really comes up, but you know, it can sort of make back some of the 500 you've paid for the Shine Ball. So really really cool. Also, if your guy will be destroyed by battle, you can banish it to protect it. Honestly, it's just an amazing card. 2 copies of the Chorus in the Sky. I really like this. I've not seen that many builds that play 2, but I thought I was playing 1. I'd been testing the deck for ages. I finally broke it down and realised I've been playing 2, but I mean it works, so I'm not going to change it now. So you pay 1,000 and then you can add back 1 from grave and 1 from banished. So then it sort of gives you enough hand advantage to end on a Herald in hand as well, whereas other times it can be quite difficult, you know, especially if you draw on a Shine Ball or something. So really really good card. 1 copy of the Sanctuary in the Sky. If you are playing the Christia, you do have to play this because of the way the Parshath link works. You have to control Sanctuary to be able to search the Christia. So the effect is meh, but I mean you do get it for free because when you banish the Neptune you can actually search this. 3 crossout, because you don't want to lose to hand traps, especially not Nibiru. You can't really, I mean if you get Nibiru you lose. You can't really play through like that many interruptions, so you'd rather just have this to sort of force your plays through. 1 called by, exactly the same, except you can't stop Nibiru. I wish it could, but alas it cannot. And then lastly, we've got 2 traps. We've got the Fallen Sanctuary. This is what you search off the link 3, the Parshath link, if you're not searching the Christia. Basically it's an imperm every turn. you banish a fairy, you negate a monster your opponent controls. Also, when it's activated, you actually get to set a Sanctuary in the Sky listing, spell or trap. So then you set the Sacred Waters for next turn, so it just gets you a search on top of negating your turn, their turn, your turn, just by banishing a fairy. So it's a really, really strong card. It also treats itself as Sanctuary in the Sky when on the field, so makes your stuff stronger, like, you know, the Pluto for example would be a quick effect. And lastly, just the 1 copy of Impermanence. Again, just a hand trap for the crossout designator, but it's a trap, so put it with the traps. So that's it for the main deck. Then onto the extra deck. I'm playing quite a Link focused version because I'm not playing any of the Punk engines, so you don't have as many tuners. So I'm playing 1 copy of the Link Spider because it can sort of unbrick your hand if you open a load of Shine Balls, but also it can make your Shine Ball into a different name, so you can climb into stuff. Like for example, you can't make an Appaloosa with 2 of the same name, so you'd make 1 of the Shine Balls into a Link Spider, for example. So that's just another interesting use for this. Got the 1 Agent of Protection, the Moon. Protector of the Agent, sorry. Basically, it's a Link 2. When you summon it, you can send a Agent or Hyperion card. So generally, you send either the Neptune or the Majesty Hyperion, depending on what you need, because then the actual Hyperion can summon itself back by banishing an agent. So it basically gets you an extender, helps you climb into your Link 3. Going second, it contribute a fairy to destroy a card, but that rarely comes up because you do tend to burn it turn 1. Got 1 Hulk, really, really good card. I don't use it as much in my build, I'm more focused on links, but there are certain combos, especially with the what's it called, that really expensive card I showed you before. There we go, Diviner of the Herald. With this, you do a Hulk line and it ends on a really strong board. But generally, if I open like a Venus play, I don't actually go into this, I tend to Link Climb. But it is a really cool card. Obviously, you know, it can tag out into like Formula Synchro and stuff as well. Really good. 1 IP. I tend to use this when climbing. It's sort of like the Link Spider in the way that, you know, I just use it as a different name, but also it gives protection to my Appaloosa, so they can't Lightning Storm it, they can't Raigeki it. So I think it's a really good addition in that sense, because otherwise you'd just lose straight away, because you can struggle with board wipes because you've got like a Christia, you've got this, that and the other, and you've not got that many Omni Negates, so then they just Raigeki and you lose. Got 1 Phoenix, again can just be used for climbing, but also really good for like access code talker, which we are playing. Great going second. You can often co-link this as well with like a Link Spider, for example, to draw a card. 1 Unicorn, again really good for access. You are also playing the Masquerena, so it comes up occasionally, but generally you won't have that many cards left in your hand after you've done a combo, so it can come up, but again it's just for breaking boards going second. 1 Night Lord Parshath, so this is one of the most important cards in the extra deck. So it's a Link 3, needs 2 fairies. So if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can search any fairy, but otherwise you just discard a card, search either a fairy or a card that lists Sanctuary in the Sky, or Sanctuary in the Sky itself. So you could search the trap that we mentioned before, or you can search the Christia, which is really good. And then it has another effect, when fairies are sent to the graveyard, which is continuous, so you know, you can use it even if like they go to graveyard on your opponent's turn. You can banish a lower level fairy to summon a fairy from hand with a higher level than that card. So yeah, say link off a Shine Ball into a Link Spider, and then the other effect, banish that Shine Ball, summon Christia from hand that you've just searched. So it really helps sort of get your Christia out, whereas before you would have to sort of make awkward plays to get the Christia out. Now it's kind of free, so really, really good card. Also, you can then, it can be awkward to Link Climb with this, because you do, once you summon the Christia out of hand, you now can't link, but I mean it's really, really cool, really good card. And it's not an on-summon effect to search, even though it feels like it should be. So, you know, if it does survive a turn, you can then do it again. Or if you know, forget to play your Sanctuary straight away, you can actually play your Sanctuary and then use the effect. So it's really good. You got 1 Appaloosa. You make this card all the time. Most of the time it comes out on 3 materials, and it can't be destroyed by card effects because of the Masquerena. So that's really good. It really forces them to go into the battle phase, otherwise they're just going to eat 3 negates. So they can't just destroy it with like some random card effect, like a spell card or something. One access code, really good friend in the game. Again, very easy to make. You get a lot of link materials for free in this deck, so just the 1 copy. And then onto the synchros, we've got 1 formula synchron. Really good in your opponent's turn, so if you do go for the trap rather than the Christia, oftentimes you can quick synchro this into a Baron in your opponent's turn. So if you're facing like a deck that doesn't special summon that much, like Flounder for example, you would rather have the trap, and then you could just literally make a Baron on top of it as well. The draw does really come in handy, because if you've got a Herald in hand, there's a reasonable chance you'll draw a Fairy off this, and then you can actually use the Herald as well. So that comes up. You've got 1 copy of Arclight. Again, you're playing a lot of level 2s and a lot of level 2 tuners, so really easy to make a lot of the time, especially like with your Booten lines and everything. Or if you just draw the Booten, you can just discard it off the link 3 and then just make a Herald for free. Really good, because you can struggle with spell negates in the deck, so this is really good. Got 1 Savage Dragon. It can be quite hard to make unless you draw the Uranus, but it's a really good card. You could play the Herald Link 2 instead of this, but I never found us having spare cards in hand, especially not fairies, to discard to negate stuff. So I'd rather just be able to try and get more into this and definitely have a spell negate. Got 1 Pluto, which I should have showed before the Savage because it's lower level. Basically, you can banish it from grave to search Sanctioned Sky, which I have never done, ever. But then it's a Book of Moon effect, and it's also a tuner, so you can actually cheat this out off the Needle Fiber. Sorry, the Hulk. But so it's a Book of Moon style effect, but then if Sanctioned Sky is on the field, it's a quick effect. So it can really help like disrupt your opponent. This deck ends on a lot of disruptions, not just like a Christia. It can end on like a Banish, it can end on a Book of Moon, a Negate, stuff like that. So really cool, really easy to make as well, because the Venus and Earth can make it, or the new Venus, the tuner one, and a Shine Ball can make it, or again just the Hulk in your opponent's turn. 1 copy of Baron, super easy to make, especially comes up in like later turns, because this deck does have a fair bit of like recursion. So your trap gets you a search, which would search your tuner. You've got a level 8 that can come back from graves, and you literally just normal summon your tuner, search, and then you make a Baron. It's a really big sort of swing in tempo. You can make it in your opponent's turn, like I said before, with the Formula Synchron. So really strong card. Glad I picked this up. And lastly, the most important card in the deck, Master Flare Hyperion. Basically, so it's a level 10 synchro, so you can make it really easily. It can copy the effects of agents or of cards of monsters that list Sanctuary in the Sky. Generally, you're going to copy Venus or the other Venus, the Destruction Venus, but it can also copy things from the extra deck, so it could copy the Link 3. I've never done it, but it could come up, and then it can actually search stuff, it can special summon guys from your hand, so it just takes on that entire effect of that card and becomes that name. And then also it has another effect where if your opponent activates a card, you can chain this and just banish a card. So really good, really. So you end on a lot of different interactions. You get like a Banish, a Negate, a Book of Moon. So really strong card. And the way it works with the Destruction Venus, if you can keep the normal Venus out, you summon your Shine Balls off Venus, then you summon them off Destruction Venus, which is this, and then you've still got the Venus, and the Destruction Venus actually puts the Shine Balls back in the deck, and you can summon them out again with the first Venus. It costs you like 4,500 life points, but you can get 9 Shine Balls out. So that's it for the main deck. The extra deck, I haven't really got a side because I haven't took this to an event yet, but I'm really excited to film a combo video as well for this. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.